How are you?
Steve, how you doing?
How's
Good to see you. How's everything? How you doing?
Good.
You?
How are you?
So Steve, great to see you, man.
You too.
It's been some time.
Yes.
How did you feel about the Olympia this year?
I thought it was good. I mean, there was controversy, but I really didn't think there's controversy at every show, honestly.
Right.
But I thought the results were correct.
No, the men's open, right? Everybody obviously talks about that one.
Right.
In your opinion, you were there. I mean, did you think it was close, or?
I think it was as close as it has been in a while. I still think the right guy won. I think Ramy, next year, if he refines himself, and Phil looks the same, I believe it could be a switch. But then, of course, there was the problem with Phil with his hernia. And apparently he got that fixed right after the Olympia, so it's going to be interesting. If Ramy steps up his game, which he's been doing every year, he's very dangerous. You know, when Sean Roden gets a full year of training, he's always dangerous. Bonac, if he brings those lats up a little bit, he could be right in there too. I mean, it's still not Phil's show automatically. He's got guys that are coming up on him pretty hard.
But you mentioned the controversy, right?
Right.
It seems like after this year specifically, I don't know if it's maybe because social media is getting bigger and bigger, but it was like a lot of people, not a lot of, but a lot of bloggers.
Well, I think there were a lot of people, because a lot of people also saw it. Amazon put it on the internet, and I think a lot of people that weren't there, well, there were 10,000 people that were there.
Right.
There were thousands. I mean, I don't know how many millions of people saw it on Amazon. So, you know, it's hard to judge a show on a computer, but I mean, it was close. It wasn't. Phil didn't run away with it, but I think, you know, this was Phil's 7th time, and you know, it's kind of like a Tiger Woods. You know, you love to hate him. So Phil, I think in those 7 years, I think people are tired of seeing Phil, and they just want to change. You know, they like to root for the underdog. So I think there's a lot of that too. You know, Phil is the champion, and he's been a champion for a while, and people like to see changing of the guard. They always root for the underdog. You want to see, you know, everybody wanted to see Mike Tyson lose, and then he lost, and then they were sad when he lost. But it's like, you know, everyone is against the guy that is a champion for a long time.
So do you think this year specifically, right? Do you think kind of like Phil's weak points were still not as important as his stronger points?
He really doesn't have many weak points. He's pretty compact. I mean, he's pretty tough. I mean, he had that problem with his hernia, and that was really a problem. I don't know if that hurt him with his conditioning or whatever, but he did have a problem with that, and he fixed it. And Ramy, like I say, keeps improving. William keeps improving. If Sean puts it together, I mean, these guys are serious contenders that can beat him.
Do you think Phil gets, you know, almost like a necessary amount of hate online?
I think so. You know what I mean? I think every champion does, but that's part of being a champion. You have to deal with that.
Right.
Every champion is going to have their people that love him and people that hate him. Not everybody likes him. And that's going to be like that with whoever one day takes his place, whether he loses or steps down. It's going to be the same with that person too. It's going on with everyone.
Do you ever witness, like, for instance, you know, a champion who's obviously like Phil, he's been tested every year continuously, right? Do you think it's almost like anything left for him to prove? I mean, I know he's probably going for the 10th win, right?
It's all about legacy for him, I'm sure. I mean, 7 wins, he ties Arnold. 1 more win, he ties Ronnie, and 1 more win, he's the guy. No one's won 9.
And if that happens, do you think he will be the best of all time?
No, that doesn't make him the best of all time. I mean, it depends who you're up against. Is he one of the all-time greats? For sure. But if you took every Mr. Olympia winner and put him on stage, would he win? I don't know. I'd have to see it. Ronnie was great in his day. Dorian was great in his day. Jay was great. I mean, Dexter on any day could do damage. Dexter 2 years ago pushed him. So, I mean, he's beatable just like everyone else. He's not the guy, and he can't be knocked out. I mean, you could see going back to the Kai era. Kai almost beat him. Now Ramy's almost at him. And there's always guys that are, he's not killing everybody. He's just getting there. You know what I mean? But it doesn't matter whether you win by 5 points or 20 points. You win.
Do you think William Bonac in many ways was a big surprise? I know last year.
I think, you know, he keeps him. Another guy, yes, he was a big surprise. He looked excellent. He came in excellent condition. He's compact. He needs to bring his lats up a little bit to even get a little further, but he's very dangerous. Someone slips, he's going to take him right out.
Now, one guy specifically who I took notice of this year, he's also in a part of our team, but Brendan Curry.
Huge improvements. I mean, from what he started with to where he is now, great.
How do you feel about the whole, you know, movement from Kuwait that's happening right now?
I think those guys are doing a great job. I mean, it's good when you train to get away, to get somewhere where it's just training and there's There's no outside interference. You're there to train. It's like going to a camp. So in that aspect, it's great. I mean, some guys need that. Some guys don't. I mean, obviously Phil doesn't. Some guys could put their blinkers on and get down to work. Some guys can too, but still it's nicer to get away where you don't have to worry about anything. And there are the guys that actually need that, they can't. A little distraction and they're distracted. So it's good for them to go to a camp.
Now, 2 years ago, you and I were talking about the classic, one of the classic division, classic physique.
Yes.
Bodybuilding was first announced. We were talking about it. And it seems like this year specifically was like, it really, people took notice of it. You know what I mean?
You know, last year was the first year on the Olympia stage,
Right.
and people were like, "Whoa, this is unbelievable." I mean, people talking about classic, they want the old look. Well, here you've got the new look, which everybody are big fans of, and you've got the old look, which is classic bodybuilding, where there are a lot of fans that want to see it like that. Now you have both. That's the fastest growing division. I mean, you've got bikini and classic, the two that just shot up to the top, because most of the general public want to look like that.
The classic division actually gets a lot of respect, you know, from the connoisseurs of bodybuilding.
I agree, and part of that reason is they pose, and the regular physique guys, they don't pose, and that I think is got a lot to do with it, because some of those physique guys, if they started posing, they look pretty good too. You know, I mean, they're not as big, they're a little smaller, but a lot of them have great shape.
Now everybody's talking about the vacuum right now. Do you think that should be mandatory for a bodybuilder in that division to have a vacuum?
You know, that's a genetic gift. Some people could pull a vacuum off and some people can't. I mean, if you could pull a vacuum off, you should do it because it's to your advantage. A mandatory pose, I don't think so. A pose, if you look better in a vacuum, you hit it, and hopefully that's gonna make you look better than the other competitors.
Right. I just feel like sometimes the fans demand something, right? They want to have a perfect symmetry, perfect everything, and
Well,
a huge
I mean,
size. You know what I'm saying?
I can't blame them. I mean, everybody wants to see perfection. You know, it's hard to be the absolute ultimate. Not very many people could do that. I mean, I can't see Ramy doing a vacuum or any of the top guys and looking the way they want to look. Chris it just flows on him beautifully. I mean, can Breon do it? I don't know.
There was actually a lot of shakeup in classic division, right?
Yes.
Because every position just got switched over. Do you think it's because there's more talent coming in? So
I think there is more talent coming in, and I think guys are improving it. Remember, it's only been around a couple of years, and the guys are getting better, and there's going to be more guys coming in. It's also a very obtainable body. I shouldn't say obtainable. It's not as hard to come in at 225 pounds as to come in at 275 pounds. Instead of taking the 10-year plan, maybe it's just a 4-year plan.
Are you going to start penalizing them for size? Like, let's say the classic
Well,
division.
we really can't. There's a height and a weight factor, so they can only go to a certain limit.
So you can't go over a certain. If you like
No,
six.
it's trying to keep them in a classic class, not letting them blow up to. If they want to blow up, then they have bodybuilding. But this sort of keeps the size at a limit.
How do you feel about the 212 progression?
Honestly, that's great. I mean, you got these guys from the Middle East. They're all pushing Flex. Flex got his hands full, but he's handling it. Yeah, I mean, then you got Jose Raymond. I mean, he's been around for 20 years, this kid. I mean, almost 20 years. And look at him, man. He just came second overseas.
Right.
He's very dangerous. David Henry, he's 100 years old. He's still going. I mean, it's a really good class because you've got the old guard in there, and you've got the new guard coming in, and they're mixing it up, and they're doing battle.
So what do you think is going to happen next year at Olympia? I mean, obviously we still got a whole year to go.
I think it's going to be exciting now because, once again, Phil showed he was vulnerable, and there are guys right up on his tail, and it's only going to make them hungrier to train even harder this year, and hopefully that's going to motivate Phil to bring his best package. So I think he looked good, but I don't think it was his best Phil. And if he doesn't come into his best Phil, these guys coming up, someone's going to take him out. So that show's going to be real exciting, and that is the ultimate. You're Mr. Olympia. You're the king. You're the man. That's it. As far as the other classes and classic, that's growing unbelievably, and I think it's going to be even more exciting. And it's guys are winning, but they're not blowing each other away. That you could see 1 through 5 change just like you did last year, this following year. So that's going to be real exciting too. So I think there's a lot to look forward to on the men's end, and you have physique, and it's going to be a great year.
One last thing about Phil. Do you think, obviously he's a Mr. Olympia champion, right? Do you think he should be carrying what people are attacking on social media? Do you think he should be responding to those people or even carrying what they think?
depending on how they approach it. If they approach it in a respectful manner, yes. If they don't, no. I don't think they deserve it. If they're arrogant and obnoxious, why should you answer them? If they come to you as a gentleman, absolutely. If they come to you like an ass, pay them no mind.